Hi, everyone. This is our meeting to talk about performance regarding the source editor usage in the Blob viewer inside the repository browser view app. And today we start off with Dennis. Dennis, what do you got for us?
Yes. So first of all, I have two updates. First one is we have dramatically improved loading of large blobs. The merge request is linked in the agenda. So this is the fix for the Haml application for now. I had a call with Jacques to figure out how long it would take for us to to publicly move to the view application. So, and it seemed to be like the perspective of 2-3 milestones. So I think it was not viable to wait for that. So especially considering the very simple fix there. So the main issue there was actually like, in addition, like what the problem was on the front, like on the back end, the problem is obvious. The significant amount of time is spent on the back end for building this response, like well-formatted HTML to front end. That part we cannot fix now unless we switch to source editor for viewing the blob, right? But what we could do on the front end, the main problem of the front end was related to re-rendering and recalculating styles for all those like 32 more plus thousand lines of code we were outputting on the screen. And I started playing with JavaScript and trying to figure out some smart solutions using the document fragments and things like this. It's still possible to go that way further, and that's what we will do for the next step improvement probably. But the thing is that I came up with a very simple solution there that was so trivial that I couldn't believe it. It was just 2 lines of CSS that actually put us down more than 70% for LCP for that view. So the cool thing is that we can reuse this approach in other parts of the application, and actually including the situation that we were talking about yesterday, when when we just render the rows for repository, like when you get to a repository with a lot of files, and we have to output all of the files. Like the approach your group has taken is this incremental load, incremental page size increase. That should work great. However, it's like JavaScript, and it might be I haven't dived into the MAR implementing this like deeper, but technically, for simplicity, you could also apply the same technique with pure CSS and be done with that. So that's I was thinking about generalizing this approach yesterday, like using probably some utility class on an element, and then like giving some instructions on what elements to hide, what elements to show. So maybe I will come up with something like this, and that's the only thing to keep in mind is that this solution is specifically for improving LCP. It doesn't affect the total blocking time. It doesn't affect like last visual change or fully loaded, like those things. And technically, last visual change and fully loaded might even get worse, become worse, but we don't care about those things. Like the total blocking time might be crucial, but this solution shouldn't affect the total blocking time. It should stay on the same level it used to be before this fix. So this is LCP only.
No, this sounds really good, and it would be great to see this turn into a more generic utility, because then it would be easy to just circulate across the team. I like the cleverness of it. I love it. I especially like the fact that you wrote more comments on the CSS file than actually lines of CSS.
Yeah, exactly. And that was
Explaining about it.
It was actually Jacques' idea to
Very
leave that
good.
comment.
Very good. Nobody will
And
delete that after that warning.
It's like, if the comment has more lines than the actual solution, then probably the comment is really important. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the
good
point.
Job. No, this might actually be good for when we're tackling like hard pages where it's hard to lower the LCP. This is definitely the way to go. On the repository browser, yes, we should definitely try this approach as well. The repository browser has a different requirement kind of thing, which is we load content on each row at different steps. First, we load the files. We use the get files GraphQL query. We dump them in the page, and we can use it for that. And then there's the filling in the last commit and the last modified. That comes at a later stage, but we should ignore that part. We should probably focus on the file list.
Right. The problem is that this is the tricky part. Like every time you put new data in the table, so you fill out one column. You fill it row by row, and every time you paste content in a cell, not in the row, but just every single cell, the styles recalculation gets triggered.
So on that, before you go on, even if you have a table layout fixed?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like it needs to calculate the styles for the content that you're showing on the screen, right?
Right. But it doesn't need to calculate the width, because I know that the width column calculation of tables is super expensive.
The width is the recalculating layout.
Right.
The layout doesn't get affected, but we need to recalculate the styles, right?
Because correct.
And
that's costly.
And then if you apply this CSS technique, you will hide the lines that are not shown, and when you will still be able to put content into those rows, but those rows won't be visible. So browser won't need to spend resources for recalculating the styles there.
It'd be great to see the experience, because now here's a trade-off, is that on that page, what people really care about is the files. So in the essence, we would be delaying showing the files until we have all the data to prevent the layout shift. However, then we will be withholding the content that they really care about, which is the files. And that's, I would have to see and play around with it. But yeah, keep in mind that the files is the one thing that they really care about. The other are like sugar on top. And but I would really like to see how this technique would apply to the repository file list. So if you have time, if you can fit it into your next milestone, we would love to see it, because
it would be a fun experience.
Maybe you can use that to generalize it.
Yeah. So I will try to find time, and because it would be really interesting to see this in action and be more applicable, because if this is really a sustainable solution, then it's just super cool thing to have, because it's really simple, it's very versatile, and we can apply it to different parts of the application.
And so there's also the second part of the trick that I don't think you mentioned yet on the call here, is the request idle callback, right? So that when we're doing the DOM changes on the elements, they're not doing it sequentially. You still
this is the thing. This is the trick with request idle callback there, is that we technically, like, the solution is still CSS only. The things we delegate to request idle callback are, first of all, removal of the class that protects those CSS styles.
Correct.
So once the class is removed, we do show those lines. And that's the combination of the things. So we output the 71st lines as soon as possible, like 70 lines plus the last one, because there is a thing that might not be very obvious, why we output the 70 lines and the very last one. And this is the trick to prevent unnecessary layout shifts, because when you output the blob, the first column that shows the line numbers, it has the automated width. So if you output 70 lines, it will have width to contain only 2 digits there, right? So
yes,
from
so you
1 to 70.
Smart.
If you output the last line
You
right
have the
away,
largest number that you'll
it will
ever
take
have.
the whole width, and it won't shift the layout when we output the lines.
I'm impressed.
That's small.
Amazing.
That's a small detail.
Yeah.
that dramatically changes the CLS parameter for this page.
Right. No, that's amazing. I love it. I look forward to reading your article on Smashing Magazine about
that's
this.
actually, yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm toying with the idea of writing an article on how to output large amounts of data in a performant way.
Good. I would love to read that. We also have a couple of examples on the merge request page that we've been using, and again, there are different layers of efforts, right? Yeah. Virtual scrolling is a different one.
Yeah,
it comes with different pros and cons. So yeah,
the problem why I couldn't use, for example, virtual scrolling here, or like any other sorts of reactions based on like scrolling or visibility of the elements, is that for the blob view, we still have to support linkage to a line.
Right.
So if we introduce the virtual scrolling, we won't have the line that we are linking to.
The way we handled that on the merge request was that basically we had to update the routine that does the jump to the line, because we already had the files being loaded in batches, so that could happen. The time that you load the page, you might not have the line, so we have to go to the line, render that line, and then jump after that. So yeah, it gets complicated really fast, but this is a really nice low effort. I mean, low effort in terms of using them. It was really clever from your part. But we're looking forward to seeing this generalized. Should we move on to Monaco?
Yeah, it's going to be fast. We just upgraded Monaco to the very to the latest version of it. So
nice. Any gains, any advantages so far?
I don't think so.
Is it just?
I don't think so. Okay. Not that I saw any.
Is the bundle smaller?
Actually, I doubt that, and it might became bigger. But the reason why it became bigger is that like there is one more step that we should do for this process to actually have positive benefit on the bundle size. The reason is there are several places in the code base where we intend Monaco to be globally available. So like window.monaco object to be available.
Correct.
And for that, we explicitly tell Monaco to expose the global API. By default, it's not enabled in the recent versions of Monaco, and you have to explicitly import Monaco in the views where you intend it to be. But if you enable the global API, as we have to now, you increase the bundle size. But if we update all the instances where we require global Monaco to explicitly import Monaco, then we will get the smaller bundle size, because the Monaco chunk will already be reused by several places, and we won't need to pollute the global bundle with this global API. It will be just located in separate chunks.
It'll go down. And do we have any effort scheduled for that?
I'm actually not sure. I think I've created the follow-up because that question was raised. Let me just double check that. I'm going to the merge request, and I think I've created the follow-up, but I'm not sure. Let me double check.
No, I think it's good. Even if we don't have it, we can create it. But I think that would be a nice effort, follow-up effort, to bring that down a little bit. Because that will be a topic, I think. I mean,
right here we go. I will paste the link. So there's the follow-up issue on getting rid of the global API. Here we go. It's not scheduled so far. It says next 1.3 releases. So it's probably going to be 14.3 because 14.2 is more or less planned by now. So probably going to be 14.3.
All right, 14.3. Right. Your manager is David, right?
Yep.
So just putting this in your radar. This would be awesome to be scheduled in a near future milestone, as it would benefit the ongoing effort of the repository Blob viewer refactor, which we're aiming to ship soon. To enable, let's put it that way. So put it that way. Sweet. Just put a little bit of pressure there just to get you time. Cool. Thanks for that. That's nice. Anything else you want to
Nope.
talk about?
I'm fine.
Cool. So then I'll go on to my point. So just giving a bit of a status on the work that we're doing on the refactor. Work continues to progress well. The tip that Tim gave us in this meeting a couple of weeks ago was really useful. We shipped this issue that I have on the agenda, where we basically found a way to import all the HAML viewers that are still, request the HTML from the server, run the scripts that they need to run. So we imported all of them into the Vue app. I think there's probably one of them that was added recently, like the CSV table, that we might have to go back again to import it into Vue app. But that's just a small detail. However, we did manage to ship a bunch of viewers, pull them into the Vue app, which makes it very convenient for us. If you want to enable the app, we'll be able to render the legacy viewers inside the Vue app without having to go to the HAML page. It does beg the question if it still warrants a refactor of the viewers. We will look at each one of them and we'll refactor the ones that are beneficial. But this was a very good progress, and we also shipped already the text viewer and the empty viewer. We're also working on the download viewer this week. I think hopefully it will go in soon. And then we have a bunch of scheduled issues for 14.2 to continue shipping some necessary improvements on this front. I was trying to get the planning board. So we do have a couple of tweaks on the back end. This was also a topic for us, was that we were very focused on this while the backend on source code was focused on something else. They're working on the GitLab SSHD work, which is very meaningful. And here, what we try to do as a group is we came together and we made this an OKR to ship the remaining viewers of the refactor. This will put the backend priority as well back into this topic. And where is it? Try to get to just a second, if you will. Right. So one of the things we had missed was the auxiliary viewers. So we'll be also porting that in, and a couple of tweaks on the back end. So yeah, so progress is going well, in a sense of we're finding time to work on these things and getting priority agreed with product and backend, which is great. So yeah, we're not enabling it right away yet because we want to make sure that we have a complete experience and we don't break any meaningful features.
Right.
But yeah, potentially in like two milestones, we'll be in a good position to so 14.2, not sure if it's 14.3, 14.4, something along those lines. Will probably be in a good shape to turn it on for customers. Yep. And yeah, that's cool. That's where we're at. So this covers my 2 points, making the OKR. So the quarter 3 OKR will be focused on this to get backend buy-in. And I just wanted to check about testing. So just want to make sure that we don't that we have all we need. So from what I understand, the Monaco is being loaded or preloaded or prefetch or whatever it is on the Explore page, at least.
On the Explorer and the viewer.
Good.
Prefetched.
Prefetched, yes.
Yep.
Because that way, there's two concerns here. One is the user experience, and that always comes first. As long as that user experience is better, I'm happy. But we should also spend some time ensuring that the tests will reflect the improvements, or will reflect what the user usually sees. So in that sense, I just want to make sure. So if they go on the test, from what I'm told, they go to the Explore page first to load all the caching assets, to cache all the assets. So we should be good from that perspective.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
We do not
automatically.
We do not prefetch on the Explorer page. We prefetch on the project page.
Let me see. Okay, so the project page, right?
Project and Blob view.
Okay.
Not the Explorer.
So do we control on which pages that happens? Right?
Yeah, we do control. Yeah.
Okay, we should probably consider adding it to the Explore page, and here's why. So the site speed tests that we have, they go onto the Explore page to load the CSS assets, the bundles, all that stuff. They load there, so that by the time that they go onto the page itself, those things will be somehow already. I'm not sure if it's cached on the client side or just
there's
rendered.
There's one point here. So there are two site speed setups, right? One is like general dashboard driven by team.
Yeah.
That one doesn't go through the Explorer. It goes straight to the page because we are measuring non-cached version. Like we're doing the cold cache testing there. And another setup is the one driven by the quality team. There we are going through the cache, and that's exactly where you saw the Explorer page. Was the video that you posted yesterday.
Yeah.
We go to the Explorer page, we cache the assets, and then we go to the required page, and that's where we measure the thing. So technically, there is no good answer which one should we prioritize, but all of our efforts are measured and assessed against the default dashboard driven by team. That's where we have all of our LCP leaderboard, and that's where we get our numbers from.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you talk to. Some people will look more at the 10K reference ones.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
we should work on both.
when we get the, for example, like the OKRs of moving things into the moving a page to under 9 seconds or under 2 seconds, it will be measured on Teams dashboard.
Oh, it will?
On the cold cache.
I'm not so. I've seen some of them that reference the quality one, so I think it varies. I think it's not that clear.
The problem is that engineers in general have no idea that we have 10K.
Right. Yeah. The team at large. Usually, the way that I've seen this happen is like we'll focus on the one that you just mentioned, the team one. And then eventually when we're creating issues from the quality team, all of those timings will be in reference to the quality 10K architecture one.
Yeah.
But yes, so I think we should focus on both at least. So we should probably have a task to check how we can make sure. So give me a second. One of the things we did for the virtual scrolling was that we created a query string parameter to enable virtual scrolling by the URL. And in that way, we were able to put that feature flagged off mode tested on the site speed, because we just created an entry with the query string saying virtual scrolling equals true. In that way, we had two entries on the site speed test from Tim's side, where we would have the diffs and the diffs with virtual scrolling. And throughout development, we were able to test both versions.
That's smart.
Maybe we should do the same thing for the Blob viewer, and I probably create an issue for it So maybe what we need is just to have a way to force the feature flag on via URL. Once we have that, we'll be able to add the entry.
So from what I understand, this particular issue is not related to the source editor per se. It's just for testing with the feature flags on and off, right? Because
it's testing this particular
for testing inclusion of the source editor on the Blob view, you will have two testing environments by default, one at 10K and with a cache, and one at in the default dashboard on the cold cache. So by the time it goes live, technically the numbers should be more or less comparable, because since we do not prefetch source editor on the Explorer, essentially you will get the cold cache in regards of the source editor. You will get the cold cache on 10K as well.
Yeah.
If we have to test this with a hot cache, it's going to be like one simple merge request to prefetch source editor on the Explorer page. The reason I didn't do this from the beginning is that, from what I understand, usually people do not, like real users, do not land on Explorer page that often. They either land on the project page, or like group page, and then they navigate through to project. So it's kind of I didn't see any point in preloading it on the prefetching it on the Explorer page.
When people sign in, don't they land on the Explorer page? Some, depending on their preference.
Yes, but they will still land on the project page, on the repository page, before they land on any page involving source editor. That's the point.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. It's really weird because first you can have a preference on your homepage content. I'm just checking on the preferences. You can choose between your projects, start project, your project activity, start project activity, your groups, your to-do list, your assignment issues, assignment. There's a bunch of options that we can have as an home page, which is the one you get after signing. But if you follow a link and then you sign in from that page, I think you're thrown back to that page. It's really tricky to guess where the user will land after login.
Well, it's like the point is that we can easily get this like include source editor into the hot cache testing on the 10K. That's not a problem, but we still have to watch out for the default dashboard to know how it behaves on the cold cache, and because the whatever improvement we make for the cold cache, if there is any improvement required on the cold cache, so whenever we do it, it will inevitably improve the hot cache. So I tend to rely most, like 99% of the time, I rely on the default dashboard, because that's where I get true picture of how things behave.
Okay, we will definitely have a second entry. We would not be like just using the one, but you have a point. Maybe so we should probably add an entry right now with the cold cache to the site speed, so that we can see how bad of a picture it is, right? Because we do expect that to be like more data to load, more time loading assets, but we don't know the contrast in terms of metrics. So what we can probably do is have the same project that we already have, add an entry to that project, enabling the Blob viewer using Monaco, using source editor, because that way we'll be able to contrast the metrics as they are right now, without tweaking the cold cache, without tweaking anything, just as it is, enabling the mode, and then we'll see.
So you mean, okay, if I understand this correct, you want to have a feature flag, and behind this feature flag, you want to make the replacement of the viewer with source editor right now to see how big is the impact without moving to view or doing anything else. So just the replacement.
No. So we already have, so the code is already merged, right? So we already have a way. So, and I think Jacques has a testing project where he has enabled that.
Yes, there is this, the text viewer does include source editor, actually. I think so. The problem is that it would also be beneficial to separate the things. So the default view as it is now, then the default view as it is now, like the Haml application with source editor. So we compare this, and then the source editor and the view application.
Can we separate the two? I don't think we can separate the two.
We can protect the things with the feature flag, right? So,
okay. Well, here's what I'm thinking. I don't want to have like extra development done for like some extra development. That's fine. I don't want to go and build something exclusively for the testing. I just want to do this, like have the Haml version, one entry, then beneath that you'd have another entry with the source editor for the same file. That's it. And then we'll be able to contrast the two and see the numbers. Is that what you're saying?
Not really, but we can do that. We can do what you mentioned as well. It's just the question is how ready that text viewer with source editor is.
From what I understand, it's ready to be right now. Because I've seen one demo. I think I have. Wait, give me a second.
There's like we discussed this with Jacques. There is one.
I'm trying to find the link.
So the thing is that he's using source editor as the view component. That makes sense. The problem is that he needs to add at least one extension to that instance.
Okay.
And the view component for the source editor has a known bug with applying the extensions. Okay. So what I suggested to him is convert this to a plain JavaScript implementation instead of the view component.
Okay.
And then include the required extension.
Okay.
The extension that is responsible for actual line linking to a line. So when you include the source editor by default as the view component, you don't get linking to a line out of the box. There, you have to add the base extension.
Okay,
and that's the point that doesn't work that well in source editor. I'm planning on getting back to source editor in the next couple of milestones. We had a meeting yesterday. The group meeting, and it seems like the vector is going towards the source editor work more in a couple of milestones ahead. So,
okay, no, I found what you're saying about the line. So just so that we have it on the call. This is the example that I'm talking about. I was trying out the. Tell me when you see my screen. See my screen?
Yes. Now
okay, good. Yep. So this is the page that he has as an example project that has the feature flag enabled for this particular project, and this is already using Monaco itself. But yeah, like you said, you can't link to a line. So that makes sense. I'm trying to think.
And also, you see, there is some visual glitch with.
This one here.
Have you resized the window?
I did.
You have resized the window now, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's the bug that I'm gonna fix. I'm probably not gonna squeeze it in 14.1, but it's gonna be fixed.
Good. No worries. That's good to know. But maybe so, wouldn't it be useful to have, for example, this page or a page like this tracked on site speed so that we can monitor each one of the changes as time goes on?
Yeah.
Even if it's not seen by users, it will be useful for our instrumentation. So
I think that would be smart. Yes.
Okay, I'll find a way to have this enabled via the URL, and then instead of just using this dummy test, we'll go and use the one that's in site speed, we'll just enable the mode there, and we'll be able to contrast the two modes.
Yes, so two identical files, same file, or like not two identical, but
the same file.
The same file.
Exactly.
compare.
I'll get that done.
Current. Right. Okay. That's that makes total sense. And then we could track the progress. And like this is the challenging part now, that since we are behind the feature flag, we cannot really track performance changes in the implementation that source code is working with, right?
Right.
So being able to toggle the feature flag from the URL and monitoring it would be really cool.
I'll take care of that. I'll create an issue and I'll see if we can put it as a stretch in 14.2. It's usually a very straightforward thing.
Cool.
So we might be able to do that, and I'll give you an update in 2 weeks, hopefully with the numbers. And I'll just share it on Slack once I have it, but we'll talk about it here as well. But that's it. I don't have anything else to talk about right now. I think we're in a good spot. We're progressing fine, and we're seeing things roll out, which is great. And thank you so much, Dennis, for the help you gave on the large blobs. It's heavily appreciated and it helps a lot. So thanks for that, and looking forward to seeing that generalized.
Yeah, that's there is another, like, just keep in mind, there is so this was the severity 4 to severity 3 transition, right? I mean severity 1 to severity 2, right?
Okay.
And now there is another issue to transition it from severity 2 to severity 3.
Okay.
So, but we are very comfortable in the very, very low, like very close to the lower border of severity 2. So,
all right. So close.
Getting to severity 3, to severity 3.
Right. Correct.
It's reversed, right? So to severity 3. We can actually, I assume we could even get to severity 4 there if we make the replacement of the HAML with of these server-side rendered content with source editor right away.
That's the numbers we need to see, because if we have to load Monaco, that's the trade-off where it's going to take longer. Is that better? Is that faster or not faster? Overall, we have to see with the real example. But yes, severity 2 to severity 3 is usually like a less urgent move than from 1 to 2, and from 3 to 4 the same thing, but we should definitely keep pushing. But right now, I think the next thing would be trying that out on the repository list would be awesome. And if it will be in a generic way, then you can present it to the rest of the team to start using this everywhere. So sounds good.
Would be cool.
Dennis, thank you so much for the update, and I'll see you around. I'm going to see you before 2 weeks for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Right, man. Have a great day.
Cool.
Thank you so much for the updates.
Yep. Have a nice day, man. Bye.
Bye.